We will now focus on India's interest in Arctic. The Arctic affects global weather, temperature and ecosystems. It may also influence Indian monsoons. This is a hypothesized connection but not fully understood. So India's 1300 island territories and maritime features might be directly and significantly impacted by sea ice change or melting in the Arctic. Understanding Arctic ice melt may give information related to glacier melts of Himalaya, that is Ganga and Brahmaputra, which benefits several million Indians basically. So these are all the reasons why India is interested in the Arctic. So we will look at the various aspects on which India is mainly focusing on. One is scientific research and collaboration. India engages in the Arctic scientific research on climate change, environment and polar sciences, collaborating internationally. And climate change awareness, India highlights the Arctic importance in climate change discussions, recognizing its global impact on weather and ecosystems. Then India also advocates for sustainable Arctic development, balancing resource exploitation, environmental protection and respecting indigenous communities' rights. So this is under sustainable development. And with respect to government, India's Arctic participation reflects scientific focus, environmental concerns in strengthening ties and governance. And India is also involved in regional cooperation. India engages in multilateral Arctic dialogues, fostering cooperation between Arctic and non-Arctic states on climate, shipping and biodiversity. So here are the various activities India had been carrying out from 1920 onwards. In 1920, back then it was called as a Spitsbergen, currently it is Svalbard. So the Spitsbergen Treaty was signed in 1920, even before India got its independence. So India, as part of British India, signs the Svalbard Treaty in Paris, securing the right to participate in Arctic activities, particularly in the Svalbard archipelago. In 2007, the first scientific expedition happens, that is, India launches its first Arctic scientific expedition, initiating studies in microbiology, atmospheric science and geology. In 2008, the Himadri station was set up. So India inaugurates its first Arctic research base, Himadri, located at Ny-Ålesund, Svalbard, making it the only developing country besides China with an Arctic research base. Then in 2014, IND-ARC observatory was developed. India develops its multi-sensor moved observatory IND-ARC in Kongsfjorden, Svalbard, to monitor Arctic conditions and gather climate data. In 2016, northernmost atmospheric laboratory was established at Gurvebadet, Norway, to observe atmospheric conditions and study Arctic climate patterns. Currently, the Arctic glaciology research program and polar research programs are continuing. So here is an actual document in which India first signed the Svalbard or the Spitsbergen Treaty. So this treaty concerning the archipelago of Spitsbergen in the year 1920. So United States of America, British Empire, Denmark, France, etc. are the participant countries. So this is the League of the Nations. And here it was given as Emperor of India. So in section 41, treaty concerning the archipelago of Spitsbergen, signed at Paris, February 9, 1920. So the article first talks about the high contracting parties undertake to recognize, subject to the stipulations of the present treaty, the full and absolute sovereignty of Norway over the archipelago of Spitsbergen, comprising with Bear Island or Bering Island, all the islands situated between 10 degree to 35 degree longitude east of Greenwich and between 74 degree to 81 degree latitude north, especially West Spitsbergen, North, and various other islands names are also given, smalls and rock appearing thereafter. So these are all the first article in which everybody signed. So the Government of India and the Arctic, actually the National Centre for Polar and Ocean Research, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India is the nodal agency for India's polar research program, which includes Arctic studies. The Ministry of External Affairs provides the external interface to the Arctic Council. Other ministries or various other ministries are involved in the Arctic activities, which include Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Science and Technology, even Department of Biotechnology, Council of Scientific Industrial Research, and various other departments and ministries are involved in Indian Arctic activities. So recently India had passed India's 6 pillars of India's Arctic policy. So the main aspects which are covered given here. One of the important pillar is science and research. The second one is climate and environmental protection. This particular MOOC was developed mainly focusing on the climate and environmental protection, which is based on the 6 pillars of India's Arctic policy: economic and human development, transportation and connectivity, governance and international cooperation, national capacity building. These are all the various other pillars which are related to India's Arctic policy. The science and research objectives include strengthening the research base at Himadri, align with Arctic observation networks, encourage socio-economic and traditional knowledge research, acquire ice-class polar research vessel. We have recently studied about what are the ice-class vessels. So here is one. India would like to procure a dedicated ice-class polar vessel and develop indigenous capabilities for building such vessels to enhance India's Arctic research capabilities, leverage existing polar expertise, participate in Arctic spatial data infrastructure, expand Arctic collaboration and funding. So these are all the various science and research activities and objectives India is currently pursuing. Strengthen the research base at Himadri. India would like to enhance observations and diversify instrumentation at Himadri Research Station in Ny-Ålesund, Svalbard, maintaining a year-round presence and establish additional research stations in Arctic. So similarly, India would also like to develop the observation networks at Svalbard. So some of the support also comes from Indian space technology for these Arctic programs. The advanced space capabilities for Arctic study include India's Space Research ISRO satellite, the RISAT, that is radar imaging and optical high resolution and hyperspectral imaging, can help in Arctic research and development. Similarly, maritime safety and navigation support is given by India's Regional Navigation Satellite System IRNSS has been integrated into the Worldwide Radio Navigation System by the International Maritime Organization. This helps and this supports enhanced maritime navigation and safety for Arctic shipping routes. Similarly, NASA ISRO climate collaboration for climate research is also currently ongoing. The NASA ISRO SAR, that is NISAR mission, launched its first satellite in 2023. This will provide critical data on changing ecosystem, ice mass and climate dynamics. This will give us variable insights for managing Arctic natural resources and understanding climate change impacts in that particular region. Similarly, India is also collaborating with various Arctic countries. The green energy and sustainable cooperation is one particular area. Here the collaboration with Arctic countries is mainly happening for the green energy production, resource utilization, expansion of green and clean industries, focus on environmental sustainability. Similarly, India and Denmark had recently signed the Green Strategic Partnership. So here the India will be mainly focusing on waste development, pollution control, renewable energy and green technology development. Similarly, there are other aspects of business engagement in Arctic economy. The private Indian companies have not yet made significant investment in the Arctic, but currently they are planning to pursue this particular aspect. India encourages business to join the Arctic Economic Council and participate in its working groups. This will promote responsible resource development and sustainable economic practice for all the participant companies and the countries. How Arctic can influence India? One is economic and national development impact. Another one is impact on agriculture and food security. The third one is threat to coastal and marine ecosystems. So this is the main reason why India is interested in Arctic region. The Arctic is crucial for India's economic and national development, particularly in relation to water security and sustainable growth, because the region's change affect global climate system. Arctic region change affects the entire globe. So that's the reason India is also mainly concerned with that. Melting glaciers and changes in the Arctic have a direct impact on India's agriculture, especially crops like rice, soybean and pulses, which are highly sensitive to climate shift and account for 50% of India's food production. So India is mainly looking at the impact of agriculture and food security with respect to Arctic changes. Similarly, sea level rise caused by Arctic changes leads to a great threat for India, because India has 1,300 island territories and marine species. This jeopardizes the country's food security and sustainability of coastal communities. So India is also worried about changes in the Arctic region.